Okay, this is your homework paper. It's Unit 1 Non-Calculator Maths, November 16. Question 1. A fair six-sided dice and a fair coin are thrown together once. Circle the correct answer for each of the following statements. Number of possible outcomes. So obviously you know the dice is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can either have heads and tails on a coin. So you could have a 1 and a head, or a 1 and a tail, a 2 and a head, a 2 and a tail, a 3 and a head, a 3 and a tail, 4 and a head, a 4 and a tail, a 5 and a head, a 5 and a tail, a 6 and a head, a 6 and a tail. So altogether that's 12 possible outcomes. Probability of getting a 4 on a dice and a tail on the coin. So there's only 1 4 and 1 tail, so 1 4T. That means there's 1 out of the 12. Probability of getting a multiple of 3 on the dice and a head on the coin. So the multiples of 3 are 3 and 6, and you want the head, so that's 1 and 2. So that's 2 out of the 12. There's obviously no option for 2 out of 12, but 2 out of 12 is the same as 1 out of 6. Question 2. The table below shows some of the values y equals 2x squared minus 5x minus 1 for values of x from minus 2 to 4. Complete the table by finding the values of y for x minus 1 and x equals 2. Now before you do that, I would suggest doing question B first. So plotting the graph first. Now you've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. You get 1 mark for plotting 5 points correctly. So if you don't know how to do this question and you're struggling to fill in those boxes, always plot the points that you have, because that will get you 1 mark. So the first one with minus 2, 17. So I go across minus 2 up 17. So that is about there. I don't have the minus 1. I've got 0 minus 1. So I go across 0 up minus 1. I've got 1 minus 4. So I go across 1 down minus 4. I don't have the 2. I've got 3, 2. So I go across 3 up 2. And I've got the 4, 11. So I go across 4 up 11. So I can see my curve. I know my answers have to go around about here and here. So my answers are going to look about 11 or 10, and then about minus something. So let's go back up to question A. So all we need to do is input minus 1 where you've got x. So instead of x, I've got 2 times minus 1 squared. Take away 5 times minus 1, minus 1. Careful on your negatives. So minus 1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Then we're taking away 5 times minus 1 is minus 5. And we've got minus 1. Obviously you can't have 2 minus minus 5. 2 minus minus 5 is the same as 2 plus 5. So we're doing 2 plus 5. And then take away 1. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 take away 1 is 6. So I said around about 10, so that makes a little bit of sense. So at minus 1 it is 6, so that point is there. Second one, we're just substituting in 2 where we've got x again. So instead of x, I've got 2 times 2 squared. Take away 5 times 2 minus 1. So 2 squared is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, minus 2 times 5 is 10, minus 1. So 8 minus 10, that's minus 2, minus another 1 is minus 3. So our answer for 2 is minus 3. So go across 2 down to minus 3. 1, 2, 3. That's about there. Once you've plotted all points now, you can join them up. Don't forget this is a curve. It shouldn't be... Oh, it's a wonky curve. It shouldn't be with a straight line. Mine looks really bad, but yours needs to be better now. Okay, so it's hard to do on iPad. So join them up with a curve, not a straight line, because it does say that it is a curve. Okay, next one. So there's a part C. Draw the line y equals 5 on the graph paper. Write down the values of x where the line y equals 5 cuts the curve. So y equals 5 means where your line, where 5 cuts your y-axis. So you want to draw it across here. Okay, so where it cuts your x-axis, so that's here and here, you want to just read down. So if I read down from here, I got about minus 0.8. If you read yours correctly and you've got minus 1.1, or if you've got minus 0.9, they'll still mark it correct. So as long as you've read your own graph correctly, they'll still mark that right. On the other one, I've got about 3.4. So minus 0.8 and 3.4. Minus 0.8 and 3.4. So if your answers are close to that, I'd still give you the marks as long as you read your graph correctly. Circle the equation below whose solutions are the values given in part C. So as you can see, all of these equal 0. You've got your graph, your curve, and it equals 5 at the moment. So 2x squared minus 5x minus 1 equals 5, because that's your solutions here. All you need to do is bring your 5 over, so 2x squared minus 5x minus 1, obviously that's a positive 5, so we're changing it to negative 5. That now equals 0. Obviously this can simplify it to minus 6. So the only one that has minus 6 in is this one. So it's 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. Okay, next page. A regular polygon has exterior angles of 45 degrees. How many sides does the polygon have? To find out how many sides something have, you do 360 divided by your exterior angle, because all your exterior angles add up to 360. So the number of sides therefore is 8, because 360 divided by 45 is 8. Question B. Each side of a regular polygon is 7 centimeters. A sketch of the two sides A, B of the polygon are shown below. Use a ruler and a pair of compasses. Construct an accurate drawing that is shown. Right, I can't do this obviously with a compass, but I'm going to show you how I would go about doing it. So obviously this length is 7, so I would measure with a ruler, a 7 centimeters, so I would label that then B. Now what I need to do, because I need a 45-degree angle, it doesn't say use a protractor, so I need to use a compass. The only way to get a 45-degree angle is to half a 90-degree angle. So I'm just going to extend my line a little bit, and then I want to cut this line where it is on B. So I put my compass point here, make sure it stretches out to B, and I would draw an arc. I'd put my compass point on this end, so near A, stretch out to B, and draw an arc. So I'm drawing a fish, and now I need to gut my fish. So I would cut that line then directly down where B is. So I've made a 90-degree angle here. I now want a 45-degree angle, so I want to cut this in half. So to cut an angle in half, you're going to put your compass point here, stretch out to about there if you want to, doesn't really matter. So and draw an arc around. So just under my line I probably do. Put your compass point here, make a little mark. Compass point here where it crossed the line, make a little mark, and then you can bisect your line. Now this line has to be 7 centimeters as well, so make sure you put that line at 7 centimeters. So that angle will be 45 and that length will be 7 centimeters. If anyone wants me to do that in lessons with them, let me know. Okay, question 4. Make M the subject of the formula. We just did this the other day. I think I gave you this exact question, so you should be fine with this. So you want to chuck everything else over to one side. So the M is currently positive, so I'm going to leave it there. So first of all, I'm going to get rid of the 7 by taking it away. So y minus 7 is 6m. Then to get rid of the 6, I'm going to divide. So y minus 7 divided by 6 is m. Part B, I've got to factorise. Okay, this you can see it means single brackets because, yes, it's got an x squared. However, there's stuff that goes into this one and this one, not just one. So 6 and x goes into both of them. So 6 and x need to go on the outside of my brackets. 6x times what is 6x squared? X. 6x times what is minus 12x minus 2. Find in standard form the value of each of the following. Right, first one is dividing with standard form. I'm going to write them out of standard form, divide them, put them back into standard form. You can do it a different way. You can put them both into standard form and divide them. It's up to you. But this one, because it's a non-calculator, I would take them out of standard form. So this one is going to be 7, 5, and then 5 zeros, because I've already got 1 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers after the first one. And then the bottom one is obviously staying as 5,000. To divide in, just take off your zeros. So this is actually 7,500 divided by 5. You should know how many 5s go into 75. It's 15. So your answer is 1,500. I'm going to put that back into standard form. So that's going to be 1.5 times 10 to the power of 1, 2, 3 numbers after the first. Adding and subtracting in standard form, you can do the same. Write them out of standard form. So this first one would be 2 and then 3 numbers after the first. So 1, 2, 3. This one, again the 6, and then 4 numbers after the first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I just want to add them. Now I'm going to line these up just so I don't make any mistakes. So that's 2, 3, 0, 0, because a lot of people might assume that there is a 0, an extra 0, and not write it correctly. So we've got 66,300. Back in standard form will be 6.63 times 10 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4. Because there are 4 numbers after the first. Question 6. This is an OCW question. That means you just need to lay out all your workings in a nice structured way and tell the examiner what you're doing. So each side of a square is length 2x plus 3y. The perimeter of the square is 62 centimetres. So if we do our square first, if we've got one length is 2x plus 3y, there's obviously 4 lengths to work out the perimeter. So I'm just going to do 4 times 2x, which is 8x, and 4 times 3y, which is 12y, to get 62. With our octagon, we've got 8 sides to an octagon. So one side is x plus 2y, and the perimeter is 72. So perimeter is obviously adds up all the sides. That's why I times it by 4 and 8. So if I times this one by 8, I get 8x plus 16y equals 72. I've got 2 equations now that I would need to solve to find our values for x and y. So this is simultaneous equations. So if I just write them again, I've got 8x plus 12y equals 62. And the other one I've got 8x plus 16y is 72. Now when we did this in lessons the other day, I told you to make your y's the same, because I just find that easier. However, your x's are already the same. So you can just subtract them because they're both positive. You can do, I would do this one, take away this one. So I'm going to do equation number 1, take away equation number 2. Our x's cancel out, so I need to do 16y, take away 12y, which is 4y, and 72 take away 62, which is 10. 10 divided by 4 then is 2.5. So y is 2.5. I'm going to put that back into an equation. I'm just going to put it into the top one. So instead of 8x plus 12y equals 62, my y is now 2.5. So I've got 8x plus 12 times 2.5 is 62. 12 times 2.5 is 30. That's equal to 62. So take away your 30. So 8x equals 32. Divide by 8 to get 4. So x is 4, y is 2.5. Question 7, tree diagram. I don't even need to read the tree diagram to work out the Hereford. If that one is 0.7, then Hereford is 0.3. I do need to read my tree diagram for the next bit, read the information for my next bit. It says the probability that he travels through that place, I'm not even going to try, and stops for break is 42. So if he does this and this, he gets 0.42. That doesn't mean stops for a break is 0.42. It means 0.7 times something is 0.42, so that has to be 0.6, and then all of the rest will be the same. Calculate the probability that he travels through Hereford and then does not take a break, so we need to times those two. We need to do 0.3 times 0.4 to get 0.12. Question 8. William has n marbles. Lois has 4 times as many marbles as William, but now she's lost 23 of them. Lois still has more marbles than William. Write an inequality that's like an equal sign, it's just a more than or less than sign, in terms of n to show the above information. Use your inequality to find the least number of marbles that William may have. So if William has n and Lois has 4 lots of n, but then loses 23, that would be 4n minus 23, but she's still got more. So 4n minus 23 is still bigger than n. Now I just want to solve to find n. So I'm just going to swap my 23 and n around. So 4n minus n is less than 23, is bigger than 23. So that is 3n is more than 23. Therefore n is 23 over 3. So how many 3's go into 23? 7. Left with 2/3. Obviously you can't have 7 and 2/3. N has to be bigger than 7 and 2/3, so we need to round up, so the least number has to be 8. So he can have 8 and she would still have more than him. 4 lots of 8 take away 23 still gives you more than